Hey everyone, good morning. This is our third, my husband's in the yard. This is our third episode of Because We're Strong, and it's going to be with Tania from New Zealand. When I see her hop on here, I'll be able to add her. Let me see. I don't see her yet. We got our times a little messed up, so it's pretty late for her. And oh, hey Tania, let me see if I can add you. It's pretty late for her, and you know, we talked about changing the time again, but do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay, go with your dad. All right, Tania, I'm gonna try and add you. Hang on one second. Let's see. There we go. Let me see. Why won't it let me click on you? Hold on. Now I see you, but it's not letting me add you for some reason. Join as a guest. Let's see. Do you have Tania, do you have Facebook allowing you to bye Michael, do you have Facebook, like, did you give it permission? Let's see. Hey Danielle, let me see something. Oh, Facebook. Hold on, I'll double check. Yeah, double check for me, because for some reason it won't let me, oh, there we go. Bring Tania West on camera. Okay, I don't know if you changed something, but, it says I can't bring you on. So just make sure that you give Facebook access to your camera, and then I should be able to bring you on. I'm going to try again. It says you'll receive an invite. Yeah, I've allowed the camera. Okay, let's see. Are you on your phone or your computer? It's bizarre. There we go, bring you on camera. It says I can't. Why is it not? Maybe try your phone. I have both phone and laptop at the moment, so hopefully one of them works. Okay, let's see. I can also go inside and try my computer. I don't know why this is being a pain. Let me go try. Well, at least we're consistent, because this happens every single time. Okay, let's try. All right, let's see. We are gonna get it one of these times. Try add new again. There we go. I don't know, for some reason it's letting me add you now. Let's see. All right, I sent it, so it should let you.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know which one. I think it's my phone that's working. I'll just put you.
Your phone's working?
Yeah.
Well, I got you on here.
Yeah. Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'll just turn off the laptop because there's a little bit of a delay.
Oh, your accent is the best.
My accent? Did you know it was the best in the world? It was
Awesome.
voted.
Hey, Crystal. So, you're a trooper. I didn't realize we messed the time zone up that bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually check, so I was at 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, it's time to go live, and then I messaged, and it came up with, oh, Teresa lives in Pennsylvania, and so I just double checked the time zones, and I was like, oh, Pennsylvania, it's like 5 in the morning there right now. Hopefully it didn't wake you up, but anyway, thanks for having me.
I was completely out. I wish it would have woken me up because I would have been fine to do it then. I was just sleeping.
Figured, but that's all good. I'm here now, so
Yeah.
Happy birthday as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. It was really nice. It was nice.
Awesome.
And happy Mother's Day.
Yes, as well. Happy Mother's Day. So,
thank you.
So
I want you to just kind of tell people about yourself and kind of just share your story however you want to, like whatever you want other people to know about your story and how you guys have just been going along. Tell us how old your child is, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, cool. So my name's Tania. Hi, everyone. Roman, my son, is now 9 months old. Let's start from my pregnancy, actually. So I had a really complicated pregnancy, similar to Brianne's story, where I had a severe case of polyhydramnios. So 30 weeks gestation, I remember the midwife saying this, but I was the same size as a full-term mother with triplets. Like, it was just...
Oh my God.
It was just insane. It was crazy, yeah. So, and it was very uncomfortable as well. So I was kind of showing quite early as well, but, first-time mum, I didn't think twice about it because, everyone carries differently. So at 14 weeks, I was showing more so than everyone else that was a little bit further ahead than I was. But apart from that, so 30 weeks, and my body just couldn't hold that amount of fluid, pretty much. So
yeah,
I had a lot of checks, and the specialists and doctors, they didn't actually know why, like the reason why is to, I had so much fluid. But now I know that it's most likely linked to, Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome, because I've heard lots of people having similar experiences. So, so this is a bit too much information, but I'm just going to put it out there. But when my water broke, it was the scariest thing. Like, I remember the specialist saying, when your water breaks, you need to kind of work against gravity because there's so much fluid, the pressure of the water may push the baby out or push the cord out. Yeah, so I remember we had just came back from the hospital that day because I couldn't breathe and I couldn't walk because there was just so much fluid. I was just a big, a whale, pretty much. It was crazy. But so the hospital said, you're going into preterm labour, so there's nothing really we can do for you apart from let you go home and just wait till your labour kicks in. So just about to get into bed, and I feel my water break, and honestly, it was like something out of a scary movie.
Oh.
No, it was just so crazy, you know, and I was in shock, and my partner was in shock, and yeah, and I dropped to the ground, stuck my bum in the air, which is the kind of specialist told me to do, and then just the room was flooded with, you know, with fluid, pretty much. And,
Oh my God.
yeah, but I actually felt a lot better once the water left.
You did.
Yeah, I could breathe again, which was great. But so we went to the hospital in the ambulance, and it was a really fast labour experience. So 4 hours pretty much, and Roman arrived.
Wow.
Yeah, which was a good thing, but obviously we didn't really want him to come out too early. But anyway, when he was born, he had a lot of hair. So his head was covered in hair, and it was, you know, thick black hair, and that freaked me. Like, I didn't expect, you know, you don't really expect a baby to have that much hair, but
Yeah.
I just thought that was him. He also had a really large birth weight for his gestation, which is another key kind of trait. Yeah.
How much did he weigh?
So he was just over 4 pounds. So I think at 30 weeks, the average is like just over 2. So he was a bit like near double that. And what else? He had I think it's called a hydrocele, where I think his balls were retaining a lot of fluid, but they say that's a trait of being premature.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't notice his large tongue back then because, well, I just wasn't aware. I don't know what I was looking for. Do you know what I mean? So,
right, and you had going on.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's premature, so we're just trying to get through that. But yeah, so it wasn't until he kind of got a little bit older that I started noticing other traits such as the creases and pits behind his ear. So he's got one pit behind one ear. He also had I think it was an umbilical hernia form.
Okay.
He didn't have, he had really subtle symptoms, but nothing overly, you know, worrying at the time. But
right.
Now, like, you know, doing research and listening to everyone else's stories and experiences, they're all kind of ticking those boxes with BWS. And at the moment, we sent off a blood sample to genetics in Monash in Australia. So we're waiting for results in terms of, you know, if BWS or if he doesn't. But you know, mother's instinct, I'm 100% sure he does have it. And it's, you know, I just want to get on to monitoring, you know, and just checking that everything else is okay. So it'll be good to listen to other people's experiences about how they go through or how they are dealing with their monitoring and screening.
Right.
Yeah. So
he hasn't had any screenings yet?
No, not yet. So I think it works so we have to wait for the genetics test to come back and kind of diagnose him with BWS before they kind of press the go button on any type
Really?
of over here. Yeah.
So they won't give him a clinical diagnosis, like they'll only base it on the blood test?
Well, we're waiting for a meeting with genetics in New Zealand. So
okay.
It's a little bit of a waiting game. So my pediatrician has sent off the sample to be tested, as well as put us in line for, you know, the genetics meeting, and they may give us a clinical kind of diagnosis, but in the meantime, we're just waiting, you know what I mean? And that's the hardest part, I think, you know, just the unknown. But
so when did you start the process of like talking to your pediatrician and saying, hey, look, I think he has this, can we please be referred to genetics? Like, when did that start for you? How long have you been waiting, I guess, since you kind of pushed it?
So it's just been over a month now. So
Okay.
I think in New Zealand we have, or maybe in the world, I'm not too sure, but we have a kind of general checkup with premature children. I think 6 months and then 9 months after they've been discharged. So it was at our 6 month check, pretty sure, 7 months, because he's 9 months now. So it's actually been 2 months since
Wow.
we talked about that, and I still haven't received any results yet. You know, I've emailed him, but it's not really in his hands. Do you know what I mean? It's just more of a waiting game. So hopefully we hear back soon, or at least the genetics over here. So yeah.
So did genetics at least give you an appointment yet, or not yet?
We're pretty much there's a waiting line. Like it's just we just don't know.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
I wonder if you were to contact you know, someone, like we could give you the email of one of the genetics doctors that we see over here. She's so great with like emailing people and getting back to them. I wonder if you kind of gave your story to her, if she was able to contact your doctor somehow and kind of like push it for you, because it must be so hard just sitting and waiting, like knowing that it needs to be screened.
Yeah, that's right. It's just, you know, we could be preventing something right now.
Right.
But I would love to get a hold of that contact. You know, anything to try and fast track or pressure them into, you know, getting what they need would be great. Yeah.
It's been pretty crazy because, you know, over here, like, I guess a little, I take it for granted a little bit, but the more people I talk to that are, you know, in different countries and stuff, they're like, yeah, we're just waiting and waiting. And I just can't imagine as a mother how you feel just sitting and waiting for someone to give your baby what they need. It makes me so upset for you because it's just like, it doesn't take much to just give him the screens and make sure that he's going to be all right.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I don't know if it's just because Kiwis are a little bit like laxed or just a little bit slower, and you know we're on the other side of the world. But that's no excuse. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
I don't know. So that's yeah. So I guess on my part, like I've pushed a lot. Even when I was in the NICU, you know, as a mother, you pick up on things that the specialists and professionals don't. So they did listen, like the hospital and everyone looking after my son were amazing. But yeah, you do really, really have to until someone takes you seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why?
It does.
Yeah. But that's
So
right now, yeah.
do you notice, so he's what, 9 months old now?
Yeah.
So has he been like developmentally, is he on track, you think? Like, is he having trouble doing things?
No, so he's on track for his adjusted age. So 6, 7 months, he's on track. We have a service over here called Plunkett, and you know they check in with us every couple of weeks. So he's very high in terms of his weight. So he's in the 98th percentile for both adjusted age and his corrected age. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I've seen pictures of him. He's so cute. I'm like, oh, he's big.
Big. Everyone, he's like 1 or something, you know, like or over 1. And it's like I've noticed that he's getting bigger, but it's not until I step back and look at photos and things like that, like from where he was to where he is now, and it's just a little bit of a like, oh shit, he's wearing you know 12 to 18-month-old where he should be wearing 6 to 12. Do you know what I mean?
Right, especially because he was a preemie.
Yeah, that's right. But in terms of his development, like he can roll over, he can sit up on his own. He is dealing with solids because of his macroglossia.
Yeah.
So everything is still very, you know, smooth, very smooth food. Our speech language therapist has she checked in with us last week and said that I need to kind of start challenging him with with food, and it's just so hard though, because I just don't want to see him choke or
Yeah.
gag, and it's just really upsetting for both of us. And like I don't want him to have that relationship, with food. And
Yeah, that is hard, especially because we have my son Owen has a speech therapist, and she helps him with feeding too, because he did have tongue reduction when he was 7 weeks old because it obstructed his airway, but his tongue is still very large. So we have to be careful with what we give him. And I know exactly how you're feeling with that. Like it's so stressful because you're like, okay, is he gonna chew it or is he? And I don't know how your son is, but like my son just inhales food, just like
yeah,
shovels it in his mouth, so he doesn't even have patience to chew.
that's exactly the same as my son, and they're very fast at grabbing, like just so quick. Um, I've had to, kind of hook my finger in his mouth a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
get that piece of banana or whatever out. Even things like banana, that he can't handle that because of his
Yeah.
tongue. Yeah, so we have to be very vigilant with everything he
Mm-hmm.
takes. But um, yeah, it was interesting for her to say that I need to start to challenge him because children in general may, I don't know, develop some kind of preference for really smooth food and get, the
Mm-hmm.
push off lumps and textures and things like that. So
Right.
um, uh, I'm torn between just letting him go at his own pace and, every now
Right.
and then I'll try and challenge him, but yeah, it's hard.
So what I started doing that has helped kind of break, because for a while Owen was great on anything that like would dissolve quickly in his mouth, but at the same time he's growing so quickly and his metabolism so fast it never satisfied him.
Right.
So I've been just like giving him solid foods but making them like super like mashed and mushy, and then like slowly adding a little bit of like chunkier things. um and that has seemed to help, but I still can't, like I still am not comfortable kind of like having him sit in a high chair and eat certain things and like not really be paying attention, or like I feel like I have to be there and like watch.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's I know what you mean. We're pretty much in the same boat. So, and even, well, I think Roman's still a lot younger than your son, but even with those crackers that kind of dissolve quickly, they call them mum crackers over here, but they're like wafers, and even those are still too, yeah, he can't handle it yet. So
Yeah,
I'm just,
he'll get there.
yeah, eventually he will, but
Yeah.
everything else he seems to be fine, but I don't know about anyone else's kids, but he has, ever since he was born, he's always had really bad intestinal problems, like lots of gas, pains, milk,
A
and
lot of BWS babies seem to have that kind of stuff.
even now, like he doesn't sleep through the night. Um, he he doesn't wake fully, but he kind of whines and cries, and I don't know if it's because of gas pains or yeah. So
Yeah. Or if he's hungry or.
it's right, but it's probably
Do,
either he's hungry, yeah, or gas pain. Yeah.
do you ever notice any breathing issues with him because of his tongue? Because it had, like, you haven't really seen genetics yet or anything. So have you noticed that he gasps or anything like that?
um, he's not too bad when he sleeps, but
That's good.
does he got sick when he was in the NICU, and ever since he came through it, but ever since that happened, it's like there's something permanently kind of in the back of his nose or in the throat, and so he's very like snorty and kind of grunt,
Nasally.
yeah, very nasally when he sleeps. And I have heard you guys talk about that, similar experience. Also, I definitely think it's related and linked.
Yeah. I feel for you because especially with that, like, I feel like, oh my gosh, I wish that you could get an appointment and just have him monitored like he needs to be, you know what I mean? Because you can only do so much. I mean, you can't be awake 24/7.
That's right.
And you know, you're gonna drive yourself crazy.
Yeah, it's it's a lot like that. It is like that pretty much. And you know, I just have to kind of remind myself that we're just lucky to even have him, and he's lucky to even be here pretty much, you know, from everything he went through, and
Right.
keep my fingers crossed. But I probably will, after this, you know, send a couple more emails trying to pressure, and maybe a phone call tomorrow, you know, trying to push it a bit more. But
Yeah. I know, and I feel like that's what's so hard for you know, us parents of these kids is like you really do have to push, and it doesn't really seem very fair. Like
no,
you really shouldn't have to.
you shouldn't.
You
But
know?
I don't know if there's like some kind of list of, you know, case by case urgency. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Right.
guess all children, you know, they're just number one. But in terms of, you know, time, if we can prevent things, then shouldn't that be priority? But
Right. And especially because, you know, our kids, their disorder is a growth disorder. So
right,
if they get cancer, it's going to grow so much quicker in them than it's going to grow in another child that doesn't have it.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's why they're so like every 3 months. And I don't know, is that how it would be over in New Zealand? Would it be every 3 months?
So I think it depends on the kind of plan that they put in place. So it depends on,
Okay.
I think from when they're really young, they would automatically be 3 months, but as they get older, it may decrease to, I don't know, every 6 to 8 months, depending on the genotype, because they've done a couple of studies, or they base it off the kind of genotype of his BWS. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I honestly don't
So
know.
do you find that people or strangers notice any differences with your son, or do they um, think that you know there's nothing wrong with him and that he looks quote unquote normal?
Um, when he was younger, people noticed, you know, that he had, because he was so premature, he was very raw looking.
Yeah.
These days, he looks more normal, I would say. The only thing that's a giveaway is his tongue, pretty much.
Hmm.
It's not, it's not always out, but
Right.
you know, 70 to 80% of the time it is.
Yeah.
And um, there was this weird phase a couple of weeks ago where he was sleeping with his mouth closed, and then
Hmm.
gone through a growth spurt because now he sleeps with his mouth open again, which is his normal. Do you know what I mean? So it's just this kind of like catch up thing that his body grows and then his tongue is kind of, you know, growing up again. So I don't know if it's going to get any bigger or
Right. It's so tricky because with Owen, after his tongue surgery, once it was all healed, I mean it was great. He was closing his mouth all the time. And a fear of mine was that because it was going to be done so early that it was going to be you know, that it was going to grow. And, you know, of course, that's not the norm. It's not really supposed to grow, but his definitely has. Um, but I do notice what you're talking about. I do feel like he'll hit a growth spurt, and then I'm like, oh, it's not really out as much, or he can close his mouth more around it, and then he'll hit another one, and I'm like, oh, it's really out. And
yeah,
same thing with his. I don't know if your son has like one side bigger than the other, but Owen does, and he. For a while, like in the beginning when he was a newborn, it was totally noticeable. You were like, whoa, like such a difference. And then for a while, it was like not 100% even, but very closely even. And now it's back to, oh my gosh, you can really tell the difference. So it's
yeah,
crazy how their bodies are like, you know, catching up, not catching up.
yeah, yeah. It's just it, it's made me try and pay a little bit more attention to everything, like
Hmm.
when I bath, and you know, because I wasn't really looking at anything before because I didn't know what to look for. It wasn't until we went to the pediatrician meeting that I had said, look, his tongue is an issue, you know,
Hmm.
do something about it. But it wasn't until the pediatrician actually checked, you know, behind his ear that I didn't know he had creases or pits behind his ear. Like I didn't.
So your pediatrician is the one that told you he may have BWS?
Yeah.
Well, that's good because sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, that's really, but I did a little bit of Googling, as you do, so my
Hmm.
have a large tongue, like that kind of stuff, and BWS popped up. And so I had a little bit of knowledge about it, but it was really good that he did bring it up and said, look, I want to get his blood tested for genetics straight away, and we'll, action. Yeah, so he is proactive in that sense, but it's just the whole waiting game thing that.
Yeah, I feel like if they're working your son up for that in the meantime, because his blood work could come back negative and he still could have it.
Yeah.
So that's what's kind of crazy. Like he clinically, they should clinically diagnose him and in the meantime give him what he, needs.
Yeah, that's right. And more of a safety net too for them. Do you know what I mean? Like they can't just say, "Oh, well, it's because of time. That was the issue, and this happened because of this." And it's like, oh, at the end of the day, you don't want to lose our children because of a time constraint. Like, come on, yeah.
Right. Well, especially when it's not even something that has to happen. Like, there's these things in place for a reason. So why not err on the side of caution, and why not, give him the testing that he needs? If he clinically has features that diagnoses him from that, then just give him what he needs in the meantime, and then, go from there. I hope that if his blood work does come back negative, they'll still look at him and give him a clinical diagnosis and give him what he needs.
Have you heard of any cases that have happened like that? Like the blood work has come back negative, but the child still is, BWS symptomatic physically? Like, have you?
Yeah, so that happens. That does happen. When I took my son, I took him to genetics at 2 weeks because I pushed and pushed, and it was going to be a couple months, and I was like, look, he's a newborn. He has like all these signs and symptoms of it. I'm not comfortable waiting, and I just kind of pushed it. And when I took him, the doctor I see, Dr. Kalish, she was like, oh, he has it. Like, she didn't even wait for the blood work. She was like, he has it. He needs to be screened. They actually gave him an ultrasound when he was in the NICU, when he was born. But she was like, I want them to start now. And she explained to me that, you can have the way I understand it is that not every area of these kids' bodies is affected. So you could essentially draw blood from them and it come back negative, but they still indeed have it because of just the way that, BWS manifests itself in these kids. So, she was saying we could take a blood sample from him and it come back negative, but we could take a tissue sample from his tongue, which is noticeably affected, and it'll come back positive. So that's why a clinical diagnosis of just looking at them, and I believe Mackenzie Bailey's not on here, I don't think, but she's a friend that I met through the main BWS site, and she's really good about posting all of like the clinical features. I think your baby only needs to have 4, I think. I'll have to tag her in this and double check, but I think if they find 4 markers physically on your child, then that sets them up for the screenings, at least over here. So that's what's kind of, it's scary because, some kids don't have the tongue, don't have a lot of noticeable features. So looking like for those couple, if they have them, they should be screened.
Yeah, definitely. That's really interesting. My pediatrician over here said, just for having a large tongue on its own, that in itself a big warning sign to test for anything, just to test at all. So it's interesting you say there's a kind of 4 symptoms that you kind of need to be showing.
Well, just for them to say, yes, they have a clinical BWS diagnosis.
Yeah.
Just to have, like, I don't think they just take one, like, but you said he was big. You had the fluid. He has the tongue. He has the creases. He had the umbilical hernia. Like, based on what you just said, I think they would look at him and be like, he has BWS, regardless of what his blood work would show.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well then tomorrow I'll probably, message
Yeah,
her.
and I'm gonna send you I'll send you Dr. Kalish's information because she's really good about talking to people all over the world with like email or phone, or I'm not sure, but I think she actually might have Skyped people. I'm not entirely sure, but she has dealt with other families and like written things to their doctors like, look, and really pushed for them, which is good. Is she really makes like this syndrome her mission.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. At least we know there's professionals out there, that are fighting this, making this really aware.
yeah.
And I've noticed, I don't know if it's just good luck that you've set this up, just as I've just had Roman, but it's just, I've noticed that there is a huge increase in awareness of BWS, and it's quite odd because when I was in the NICU as well, there was another, my neighbour, her son also had BWS, but at a higher spectrum. But it was just like,
Wow.
is it so rare? Like, is it that rare? Like,
Right. It makes you wonder.
yeah.
It really makes you wonder, like, how many people actually have it and don't even know.
Right.
Like, I've talked to a couple people that are like, I got diagnosed with it as an adult. And I'm
What?
like, wow, that is insane. Yeah, one of the women, her name's Samantha, she's going to be talking at the BWS conference that's coming up around us.
Yeah.
And she has 3 babies that are clinically diagnosed with BWS. And she said she herself didn't get diagnosed with it until I think her one child was 8.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so she has it and didn't even know until adulthood, which is kind of crazy. It makes you wonder how many people, and I sometimes look, I'm like, my husband's like, stop doing that. I sometimes like, do you think that that baby has it because they look like, and he's like, Therese, you need to you need to stop.
You're like looking for everything now. That's so good.
Yeah, because like it makes you wonder. You're like, all right, well, they have this, they have that, and it is kind of like sometimes I'm like, oh, should I say something to that mom? Should I not? But you don't want to like overstep
Of course.
your
Yeah.
boundaries. But I'm hoping with this kind of stuff, and like the more we can get people to watch and hear our stories, like the more people can think, because I think people don't feel like it's a big deal or because it doesn't affect them directly. Um, but it might, and they just don't know.
Right.
So
Well, like,
it's kind of
okay.
crazy.
Yeah, well, most of the people that I have spoken to, they've never heard of BWS history in their, in their blood or in their past, their family history line. So it could happen to anyone, and it could be in all, everyone's family line. It just depends on time and who it affects, really. Like, I didn't expect a baby with BWS at all. So
I never heard of it until I was in the NICU with my son, and the nurse gave me printouts from Google, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this, and it's kind of crazy because I work in a hospital, and no doctor that I work with has ever heard of it, and I'm like, that's crazy.
yeah,
So it's so new, I think, that people are starting to become diagnosed. Like even if you look in the main Beck with Wiedemann group, there are a lot of new people starting to like be added to the group, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is the more the years pass, the more kids are going to get diagnosed. So I just hope that the more the years pass, these kids aren't, they're not a question anymore. And it's like easy to recognize and okay, let's give them their screenings that they need.
yeah, that's right. Well, hopefully, that kicks in ASAP, pretty much. We need it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you so much for coming on. You're a trooper. What is it like what time? 2 in the morning for you?
almost 2 in the morning.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you look fabulous for 2 in the morning.
On some makeup, so I didn't want to
You're
scare
so good. It's 9:45 a.m. here, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure my shirt is inside out. It is inside out.
It's trendy. It's okay.
Oh my gosh, like I couldn't get my contacts in. I'm like, I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah, I was in my PJs. And I was like, no, I'll make a bit of an effort because people are gonna watch this, and I don't want them to remember me for wearing my fluffy pink PJs or something, like.
I thought, I'm like, they're really cute PJs. When you were like, I'm going to be in my PJs, I'm like, she looks really cute. I wish I looked like that at 2 a.m.
Thank you. It's all good. Well,
You're
I'll
welcome.
get anyway to grab the details of you about, is it Dr. Kayla, was it, or?
Dr. Kalish, yeah. As soon as I hop off of this, I'll get all the information, and I can either email you or message it to you, whatever is easier for you.
Yeah, it's great, and maybe other people may want to, use her contact as well. So it's
yeah. I'll send it to you through Messenger, and I'll also post it on here, like underneath. And I know she's not the only. I think there's some doctors in Florida. I just know of her because she's my doctor, and she's been so great. So I will absolutely forward her information to you, and you can just tell her your story, and just say, I got your information from. You can say my name, that doesn't matter, and just say, we're just waiting, and is there any way you can kind of expedite my doctors to give my son what he needs?
That'll be awesome. That'll be cool.
Yeah, and you have to let me know. You'll have to let me know if like things get rolling, if they don't, and I can do my best to try and help over here, and if you don't hear from her or whatever, we can figure it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Teresa.
Sure, thank you.
Well, I'll probably keep in contact with you anyway, and I look forward to the next couple of segments. It'll be good.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing your story. I know it's not easy, and I know some people are like, oh, I don't know, but it's been really huge, and it's, I learn something new every single time. So.
Yes. So do I, which is good. That's great. All right, well, I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yes, you're a trooper. Get some rest.
All right, see you later. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So that was Tania sharing her story with us. I know it's a weird time for people on the East Coast. Usually, we're doing this at, 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I'm not really sure how Tania and I messed up the time, but she was great and was like, you know what, I'll go to bed and then wake myself up. It's like 2 a.m. her time. I'm so appreciative of her to come on here and share her story, and it just further everybody that's that watches this. It really just, should further all of our drives to make this known to people, because she has a son who probably would be clinically diagnosed, and she's just waiting. So he's not getting screened for cancer. He's not getting blood tests. He's kind of in limbo, and that is scary. And that's hard for a mother, and she has the best attitude about it. I don't know how she's not going insane. I'd be like, ultrasound my baby right now. And I'm sure that she is pushing as hard as she can. But I think stuff like this helps. And I'm just very thankful. And I know that not a lot of people are awake, or people are at work, so feel free to watch. Feel free to share. All you have to do is hit the share button. It'll link right to your page. We really just want to get people on here that don't even know what we're talking about, because that's the whole goal. I mean, once people start to realize that this is out there, there are going to be more kids that are diagnosed, and they need to be diagnosed quickly. So again, thank you. Watch the replay. As you watch these weekly, if you think that you want to come on and share your story, the pinned post on the Facebook is our sign up form. You just sign on and fill it out and email it. It'll get emailed to us. So, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your story, and we would love to share it. We're doing these weekly, and more people are starting to sign up. So a couple weeks coming up, we're going to have 2. I'm pretty sure, I'd have to look at the calendar, but I think next week is going to be with Alicia, and it's actually going to be in person because she's traveling from Florida to Philadelphia. So that's going to be really cool, because I'm going to meet her for the first time. I'm pretty sure she's next week. I have to check, but I'm going to meet her for the first time, and we're, her and I have been talking. We have a lot of ideas for getting this awareness out there. So again, thank you. Those of you that are sleeping, feel free to watch the replay. You can forward a little bit because we had technical difficulties, of course. But we got it going. So have a good day. Enjoy your babies. Don't forget to enjoy them, no matter how hard this syndrome is. And we're gonna keep getting the stories out there. Bye.